So today we are reviewing this. This is the Mitch Maelstrom. I actually reviewed their field watch not too long ago. That was the Chronicle, a watch that was inspired by Grand Seiko. This is inspired by vintage super compressors. And this actually carries over a lot of the fit, finish, and quality of that Chronicle into a dive watch case form. I really do like Mitch Mason. I think they do a really good job at attention to detail and also the actual fit and finish and quality of their watches. So I was very excited when they announced that they were going to be doing a dual crown sort of compressor style dive watch, and here it is. I actually did an unboxing of this. It's getting similar packaging to that Chronicle. Really nice packaging, a lot nicer than most micro brands out there, nicer than some major brands as well. I think they did a really good job. So, as I mentioned, this is their dive watch. It's a 300-meter dive watch, all stainless steel construction. They did this a little bit bigger than their Chronicle. The Chronicle was a field watch, as I mentioned. I believe that was around 38 millimeters. They're doing this in around 40 millimeters. So I measure 39.6 or 39.7, depending on how you actually measure it. You're getting sort of female end links on here. So you're getting a very true lug-to-lug of 47.4. So it does wear very nicely. I've been wearing this. It actually wears very, very nice. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I've worn this a few times. 12.7 millimeters thick. You are getting 300 meters of water resistance. That's including the dome sapphire crystal, but also the really nice stamped back on this watch. The watch is really done well. The back is even really nice. If you look at the back of this watch, there's a whale on here. It's stamped. It looks beautiful and it's finished beautifully. Brushing and bead blasting on that case back. Just really nice. The dial on here, this is the blue dial variant. There's going to be about 4 different dials, I believe. There's going to be a green, the blue that you're seeing here, black, and then a gray. They're all getting the same treatment. They get the same hands. That's sort of like that cathedral hand, which has a little bit of their design, which is echoed onto the crown, onto the actual bezel crown, and then the other crown is signed with the Mitch Mason M. Both of these are very grippy and screwed in, of course. And then, of course, on the dial, you have those bars. Now, that is actually carried over from the Chronicle, sort of their design DNA. You get those bars of Lume at the primary indices, which I actually very much like. This gets a sandwich dial, so the 12, the 9, the 3, and the 6. There is no 6, so it's just the 12, the 9, and the 3 are sandwich. The 6 is a date, so they replace the 6 with a date. It is a color match date, which they say they are going to Lume. And it's actually color matched, so it's a black color, so it matches this deep blue, dark blue color. And then they said that it will be loomed, which I think is pretty awesome. The printing on here right now matches the Lume color, so that creamy sort of Lume color that is sort of patinaed a little bit. So that's what it actually is printed in. I imagine they're just going to be using the same Lume to actually print that date wheel. Awesome idea. I really love date wheels that are actually loomed. I think it's very practical. And I really like the position of this date wheel. It's almost unnoticeable unless you're actually looking for it. That's what I like about a date wheel. That's what I want from a date wheel, is for it to be basically non-existent until you actually need it. Then, of course, you get a crown here that operates the inner rotating bezel, which is very smooth. It has a little bit of a notch to it. When you're turning it, you feel a little bit of a notch. And then when you get everything lined up, it lines up perfectly, and it actually notches into place, which is pretty cool. So it's not a ratcheting bezel, of course, but you feel that little notch. A lot of compressors actually do that, so it does work really well. They said they're going to shorten the hour hand just a little bit. I don't think it needs to be. I think it's a perfect length, but maybe because it crosses over the hour indices, maybe I don't really see the need for it, but that's what they say they're going to do, so more power to them. They also said they're going to improve the Lume. I did a Lume shot in the unboxing that I did for this watch, and I thought it was excellent. So I don't think it needs to be improved, but if you add more Lume, I'm never going to complain. So very, very good. Very grippy crowns, as I mentioned. They are very knurled. They're very, very grippy. So very secure, screwed in crowns, screwed in case back, 300 meters of water resistance. The case is finished very nicely. You get a chamfered edge, a very thick chamfered edge of polish on here. that goes directly into the H-link bracelet. You get screwed links here. Everything is brushed on the tops except for that chamfered edge that goes throughout the entire bracelet into the buckle, which looks really, really nice. The buckle itself is your typical micro brand buckle. However, you do get 6 positions of micro adjust. I would like them to put a different buckle on here that has some on the fly micro adjust. I think that would be really good. I think that's the next step for brands in general, for micro brands, is some on the fly micro adjust. So not that this is a bad buckle in any way, and you do get a lot of adjustability. It's just the next step, I think, for a lot of micro brands to offer something a little bit more in the buckle. So I'm looking forward to brands switching over to something like that. However, as it is, it's really nice. It does taper down beautifully. I love the taper on Mitch Mason bracelets. They do a great job, and they are beautiful. This is a really nicely finished bracelet. One of the nicest. They really do a good job. There's quick release on the bracelet as well. All in all, a lot of attention to detail. Beautifully made watch, and really beautiful packaging that it's coming in. So they're going to be doing those improvements, as I mentioned. Not that I think it actually needs it. I think that this really does hit above its weight class. It definitely has a lot of style, and it looks really good. And definitely you could see that it's a Mitch Mason because they put those bars. They're giving you that Mitch Mason look in the dial, the hands. So they're creating their own brand DNA through the look of the dial. I really like that. Of course, the bracelet. I think a lot of brands should do that, concentrate on creating a sort of uniform look throughout their watches so that when they are identifiable by the naked eye as a Mitch Mason, that's a good thing for the brand, I think. You know, when you're looking at a Seiko, you immediately know it's a Seiko. Or if you're looking at a Christopher Ward, you immediately know it's Christopher Ward. That's important for a brand. Anyway, really quickly, I'll throw it on my wrist. Before I do, let me talk about price. $449. $449, you're getting a Miyota 9000 series, so Miyota 9015 in here. That's because you have the date. I actually do like the date on here, so I do welcome that 9015. And you get it on the bracelet, $449. Really nice packaging, very nice fit, finish, quality of this watch. Something that, like I said, hits above its weight class. So $449 is the early bird. It will go up eventually. I definitely suggest getting in on the early bird because if you like this watch, I definitely suggest getting it on the early bird because you're going to save money. Again, this is 40 millimeters. I have a 7.5 inch wrist. Let me show you what I have on my wrist before I throw this on there. Today, I am wearing a watch that literally came just the other day, and I was very pleasantly surprised by it. This is Samir. This is their QNet watch that is done in conjunction with Manchester City, I believe. It's an integrated bracelet watch with PVD coating, a giant crown on here, which is in stainless steel, very, very thin automatic Salida movement. On the pricier side, but they paid a lot of attention to detail on this watch. It's pretty incredible. So very quickly, I'm going to throw the Mitch Mason on my 7.5 inch wrist. Very comfortable watch. That tapering bracelet is excellent. It's not like a bulky watch on your wrist. It's 40 millimeters. It wears like a 40 millimeter. It wears a little bit smaller than a 40 millimeter, I would say. Really nice, tight lug to lug. Just an overall pleasant watch to wear. Very good looking and looks more expensive than it actually is. That's what I said about the Chronicle, and I say it about the Maelstrom. They've done a really good job. It sort of looks more expensive than that $449 price point. Anyway, very quickly, let's do a Lume shot and then we'll wrap up the video. So I am not disappointed by this Lume. I am not one to complain about more Lume though. So if they're going to add more Lume, more power to them. The only place that I could see that it might need more Lume is maybe on the sandwich portion of the dial. Maybe adding a little bit more Lume would make it equally as bright as the hands and that bezel, because I think the hands and bezel are really nicely and liberally applied with Lume. Again, Lume is expensive, as I have said a million times on this channel. You know what? One day I'm going to actually find out exactly how expensive it is, and I'm going to give you a price compared to something like gold. Because I believe that it's actually almost as expensive as gold weight-wise. I read that somewhere, and I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that, but I'm going to find out, and I will let you guys know. I think they did a really good job. If they improve it, wow, why not? And of course, you're going to get that date that is Lume, so that'll fill up that little area there down at 6 o'clock. with a little Lume date, which again, I'm not going to complain about. I really like that idea. I think I've featured maybe 1 or 2 watches on the channel that had a Lume date in the 2+ years that I've been doing this. They should do it more often. It's awesome. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I really want to hear from you guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.